Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Thank you to our witnesses. I am very concerned about the rising problem of anti-Semitism on university campuses, and I do want to focus in this round on some of the potential linkages between that and questions on research funding. So just to put the problem in perspective, first of all, it's been reported that there were over 5,700 anti-Semitic incidents in Canada in 2023, and it is deeply troubling to see a substantial number of those incidents happening on university campuses. Very anti-Semitic statements made by certain groups, for example, as well as various incidents. So, I wanted to ask, just in terms of research proposals, is it fair to say that you have a process where you would seek to screen out research proposals that promote racist or other discriminatory ideas or narratives, and would that apply to anti-Semitism as well? Maybe Dr. Hewitt is a logical place.
I mean, the short answer is yes. I mean, we stand firmly against research that would be considered anti-Semitic or discriminatory in any way. All of our research is reviewed through panels that involve experts who read materials, provide input, and ultimately decide which projects will be recommended or not recommended. Beyond that, once these projects are funded, we rely on institutions to monitor the process of projects and how they're implemented locally through ethics committees, through their own guidelines, through the laws of Canada and other rules and regulations as they exist there.
Okay, thank you. So would you say that you're confident that this process is screening out proposals that would promote anti-Semitic ideas or narratives?
I would say at the point where we're reviewing projects, yes, as much as we're able to do that, that does occur. But as individuals undertake projects or work in certain domains or move towards certain areas of research or collaborate, then of course issues can occur. And there are mechanisms for dealing with that, which I'm happy to tell you about as you move to your next question.
Okay. And we can come back to that. But I wanted to ask, in terms of what is anti-Semitism, do you use the IHRA's definition of anti-Semitism, or would you use a different definition?
We do not screen, at the level of the councils for particular types of discrimination or otherwise. We're looking to see whether, in the view of peer review, those exist. I would say that other screening or other activities that would be taken at the level of institutions, you'd have to ask them exactly what constitutes that in their view, or how they apply the rules within their local institutions.
Okay. I am struggling a bit to understand your answer then, because on the one hand, you're saying you do try to screen out anti-Semitic or other racist content, but on the other hand, you don't have a specific definition of anti-Semitism. How do you screen out anti-Semitic content without having a definition that you're using for anti-Semitism?
So as I explained earlier, the screen that we use is peer review, so expert review, people who work in the same area, people who have the expertise to provide their views, their oversight, their considered opinion on the worth of the research and whether or not it crosses those boundaries. But should it cross those boundaries and somehow finds its way into the institution, then there is a whole other level of scrutiny that occurs at that institution, and measures that can be taken subject to the laws of Canada, local rules and regulations, or otherwise, to deal with that.
Okay, so essentially then, and I'm trying to be fair to you and not put words in your mouth, right? There is a screening based on discrimination, but that screen is based on what other people already work in the field say it is, not based on some particular identifiable definition. That seems like a problem, because if you have sort of existing building concerns of certain narratives being broadly accepted in certain environments, then you might see more tolerance for certain kinds of discrimination than you would see for other kinds of discrimination. In other words, it's not based on an objective, definable criteria. It's just based on what other people happen to think.
So as an agency and as agencies, we follow the rules and guidelines of the Government of Canada. Absolutely.
It's just the Government of Canada has adopted the IHRA's definition. I have concerns about their implementation, but they have said they adopted it.
we would follow the rules and the guidelines of the Government of Canada and apply those to the best of our ability. But you're right, in the case of peer review, that review is undertaken by experts in the field, and they will have views, and they will apply those views. And that's how peer review works.
You did say that you're applying Government of Canada policies. The Government of Canada says they've adopted the IHRA's definition of anti-Semitism. So have they said to you that they want to see you use the IHRA's definition of anti-Semitism, or have they not?
Not specifically, but
Okay.
there's generally speaking, we are looking for in peer review to make sure that these things are caught. But I'm saying also,
It's important to know what that definition is because, and I'm running out of time, but B'nai B'rith has sent a submission in which they identify specific examples, and they are concerned that there are aspects of the narratives promoted by these examples that are violating anti-Semitism, and they're using IHRA's definition. So someone else might say they're not, but the definition we use and that the government says they've adopted is the IHRA's definition.
and there are mechanisms to review those projects to see if that is indeed the case, and they can be applied at the level of institutions.
Well,
and
one
should
mechanism might be
applied.
for the government to be clear with you what it means that they've adopted this definition, because they say they've adopted this definition, but it just is pretty evident in their funding, and again evident today, that they're not actually insisting on that definition being the definition that's used.
So that's the time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.